I'm calling to order a code enforcement hearing of the City of Cape Canaveral. Today's date is March 30th, 2021. My name is Rick Geller. I'm a special magistrate appointed by the City Council to hear code enforcement cases pursuant to Article 6 of the City Code and Florida Statutes Chapter 162. This is a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing. The burden of proof is on the city to show by a preponderance of the evidence that a code violation exists. In other words, I will determine based on the evidence presented to me this evening whether it is more likely than not that a violation has occurred. The alleged violator will have an opportunity to submit any rebuttal or exculpatory evidence, including testimony. At my discretion, I may allow a member of the public with relevant personal knowledge to testify, even if not called by either the city or the responding party. Anyone who would like to testify should sign the sign-in sheet indicating, and also to indicate whether he or she would provide testimony for the city or the responding party. Upon request, an alleged violator may ask relevant and material questions of any city witness, and the city may ask relevant and material questions of any witnesses for the responding party. I may exclude evidence that I deem irrelevant, immaterial, or repetitious. If I determine that a code violation has occurred, I may issue an order requiring that the violator take whatever steps are necessary to bring a violation into compliance. I may require compliance within a certain period of time, after which a fine will be assessed. In determining the amount of any fine, I will consider the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator. Under the City Code and Florida statutes, I may assess and order the payment of a fine up to $250 per day for a first violation, up to $500 per day for a repeat violation, or, in rare instances, when a violation is irreparable or irreversible, up to $5,000, as well as the cost of any repairs made by the city. At the conclusion of the hearing, I will issue findings of fact and conclusions of law based on the evidence of record and in order, both here on the bench and in writing. The city may record a certified copy of an order imposing a fine, which will become a lien against the land where the violation occurs, as well as upon any other real or personal property owned by the violator. Any order I issue may be appealed by any party to the Circuit Court of Brevard County within 30 days. It is the responsibility of the appealing party to obtain a record of these proceedings. An appeal is limited to the record presented before me. The next meeting date, the next hearing date will be April 27, 2021, also at 6 p.m. And I can announce that I've approved and signed off on the meeting minutes from February 23rd, 2021, and our Secretary, Ms. Roth, has those. So at this point, anyone who is expected to testify tonight, if you'd please stand up, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, full truth? So help you God. Thank you very much, sir. So the first case that we have, I show as case 21-033 for violations of Section 304.1 General International Property Maintenance Code, Section 304.1.18, unsafe conditions, International Property Maintenance Code, Section 304.13, pertaining to windows, International Property Code, Section 302.4, weeds, International Property Maintenance Code, Section 308.1, accumulation of rubbish or garbage, and also this pertains to the respondent, Arturo Rodriguez, the property owner. I do not see Mr. Rodriguez or any representative of his present, and the notice of hearing was very clear that the hearing would be here in chambers. Has anyone here seen Mr. Rodriguez? All right. Okay. In that case, I will, if you please just give your name and title for the record, and you may proceed.
John Mayberry, Code Enforcement Officer from the City of Cape Canaveral.
And Mr. Mayberry, what do you have for me this evening?
Yes, sir. Said this is case number EN 2133, City of Cape Canaveral versus Arturo Rodriguez.
If I may stop you, is there a Is there a PowerPoint that should be in front of me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's not in front of me. I'll let you, sure. Feel free. Very good. There you go. It's in front of me, Mr. Mayberry. You can, you may proceed.
Yes, sir. The address is 256 Oak Avenue, Cape Canaveral. The legal description is here, as well as a parcel ID number. Your Honor read the violations for property maintenance. Notification summary, notice of violation was mailed certified mail February 16th, 2021. Term receipt requested to Arturo Rodriguez. The property was posted on February 26th, 2021. Florida statute 162.12, and notice to Arturo Rodriguez.
Was the return receipt received by the city?
No, so we've yet to receive it from the post office, but I've been tracking it online, and neither was a notice of violation or a notice of hearing. Signed for picked up. And in that respect, the notice of hearing was mailed, certified mail return receipt requested to Mr. Rodriguez on March 16, 2021, and the property was also posted on that same date, March 16, 2021.
Of course, also posted here at City Hall.
Yes, sir, at City Hall.
Thank you, sir.
This is the aerial view of the property, Clark County Property Appraiser's Office. Staff report. Staff conducted an inspection of the property on February 16, 2021, after receiving a complaint about its condition. Upon inspection, it was discovered that the roof structure was in a state of disrepair, with falling and missing soffits in several locations around the premises. Staff also observed exposed areas around windows and door frames and overgrowth of vegetation. There were also piles of rubbish and garbage located on the property as well. So this is the entrance to the house. As you can see, the soffit there is missing. There's multiple pictures from different angles of the same areas to get a better understanding of what kind of shape it's in. But this is actually the entryway to the house.
All right, now I also see what appears to be a slat missing from the fence.
Yes, well, that's the gate. It was ajar. And that's how I was able to see the garbage.
Okay. And so it's not that the slat is missing, it's just that it's open.
The gate's ajar. Yes.
I see.
This is on the west side of the property. You can see the soffit is falling down the side of the house. Also, a representation of the overgrowth of weeds. I have a better picture just coming up that shows that. And it appears that there was some type of French door or something there that they put it up.
That's not a garage door?
I don't believe so, sir.
Is that?
It may be, but I don't believe so, by the way the house is built.
Right. So that would not, it probably is not even wide enough for a motor vehicle.
You'll see from other pictures that there's a fence right there. They couldn't get a car in there.
And so is this one of the, I know there was a violation pertaining to a window. Is this the, there are more? Okay.
Yes. This is, as I said, the same view, but you just get a better shot of the grass and overgrowth and weeds in the yard.
Yeah, and then right above where the French door used to be, is that also part of the soffit coming down, or is
Yes,
that?
sir.
I just didn't know if that was part of the wall. I guess this does look like the soffit.
This is where the area thought was a missing slat. The gate was open, ajar here, so I could see, was able to take a photograph of the, you can see around the doorway there that it's not finished out. It's just got exposed insulation there. And then the piles of rubbish and construction, and there's some trash mingling amongst it as well.
What would you describe all that rubbish as? It's like
There, you can see there's wood there. There's some framed wood. I believe there was some busted cinder block siding, just parts that they had left over. They weren't going to use. They just threw it all out. This is from the same angle. Further down, you can see the wall there is also unfinished plywood, and the soffit disjointed from there at the end. It's got the fall.
Did they obtain permits to do work? Or
Yes, sir, they did. They had a roofing permit, I believe, was in the latter part of 2020. It expired. Obviously, it wasn't completed. They also had a electrical permit. It's expired, and inside the house, they've just got everything roughed out with wires hanging out of the studs.
Do we know if anyone is residing in the house?
No, sir, they're not.
No inhabitants. And so were the walls unfinished there? Was there a permit to do something about that? Is that like an addition to the house, or do we have any idea?
That's where I came to work here, sir.
Okay.
So I don't know. I would assume, because he did, like I said, he didn't apply for permits for the roof and electrical. Just let him expire and didn't complete the work.
Right, but if someone was going to, I don't know if that's an existing wall, if siding is intended for there, wouldn't they need a permit for that as well?
Not just the side, but they would for the actual construction, change structure of it.
Okay. I got it.
This is the front of the house as you're standing on, whole cabinet facing it. And you can see up in the corner there, the unfinished window area and the missing soffit.
We have at least 3 window areas that are not completed. So we have
Yes.
we have a window at the roof. We have the other window you first showed me, and then also the French doors are there. Those are considered windows or not?
Yes.
This might be more considered doors, though. Okay.
And this is a better view. You can see the soffit.
Basically, we have a soffit that is falling down and missing.
Yes.
All right.
We have to go straight to the recommendation.
Yes. What is your recommendation, Mr. Yes, we very.
Based on the testimony that have been submitted in this hearing, staff respectfully request the magistrate find the respondent, Arturo Rodriguez, in violation set forth in the notice of violation and give the respondents until April 29th, 2021 to come into compliance, or a fine be imposed in the amount of $100 for the first day and $50 every day thereafter until compliance is confirmed by the code enforcement officer and all costs associated with the enforcement of the violation be imposed.
And the recommendation to come to compliance, that would include getting all permits
yes,
and also, so would that, is where a permit has expired, do they need to start from scratch with permits, or can it, okay, so a permit cannot just be,
Good for 6 months now.
and that's it.
Guys, and it have to be free of problem.
Okay.
In this case. Normally, I'm sorry,
Sure.
normally they could reopen an expired permit, pay the expired fee. However, in this case, there was no work done, so it's like not having a permit issued at all. So they would have to go back through the whole permitting process.
Right. Right. I'm going to issue the following findings of fact. I find that the respondent is the owner of the subject property. I find that the respondent received due notice of the notice of violation that was dated February 16, 2021. That notice was served by certified mail, receipt requested, and that proper posting occurred on the property as well as at City Hall. As to the notice of this hearing, I find that proper notice was provided to the respondent, Mr. Rodriguez, by certified mail on March 16, 2021, and also posted at the property as well as at City Hall. I find that there is soffit missing, torn or falling down from multiple sections of the roofing structure. I find that a re-roofed permit expired on, according to the record materials, on November 25th, 2020, without the respondent having performed or completed the permitted work. I find that window installations are incomplete in multiple locations. I find there is an exposed area that has no siding. I find that the side and backyards have tall grass and weeds that exceed 12 inches. I find that just inside the fence, there's a large pile of rubbish consisting of old wood and roofing materials. And other building materials. And there was a French door that was boarded up. So also with the rubbish, there was evidence of cinder block. Also, there was an electrical permit that expired without the work having been performed or completed. And issue the following conclusions of law. The city properly served and posted the notice of violation and notice of hearing in full compliance with Section 2-253 of the City Code and Florida Statutes Sections 162.06 and 162.12. Find that the subject property is in violation of Section 82-221, which adopted the International Property Maintenance Code, 2018 edition. Subject property is in violation of Section 101.2 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which states that the provisions of the code apply to all existing residential structures and all existing premises and constitute the minimum requirements and standards for premises, structures, equipment, facilities for light, ventilation, space, and so on and so forth, and a reasonable level of safety from fire and other hazards, and a reasonable level of sanitary maintenance, the responsibility of owners, and the owner's authorized agent, operators, and occupants. For the administration, enforcement, and penalties, I find that there's a neglect at issue here. There's a proper lack of proper maintenance of the building or structure, and we have signs of deterioration. And that there's rubbish. I find a violation of Section 304.1 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which states that the exterior of the structure shall be maintained in good repair, structurally sound and sanitary, so as not to pose a threat to public health, safety, and welfare. I find that the subject property is in violation of Section 304.1.1 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which states that the following conditions shall be determined as unsafe and shall be repaired or replaced, which includes roofing and roofing components which have defects that emit rain, roof surfaces and inadequate drainage, or any portion of the roof framing which is not in good repair, with signs of deterioration, fatigue, or without proper anchorage, and incapable of supporting all nominal loads and load effects. Find that subject property is in violation of Section 304.13 of the International Property Maintenance Code governing windows, which states every window, skylight, door, and frame shall be kept in sound condition, good repair, and weather tight. Find that subject property is in violation of Section 302.4 of the International Property Maintenance Code governing weeds, which states that premises and exterior property shall be maintained free from weeds or plant growth in excess of 12 inches. Noxious weeds shall be prohibited. Weeds shall be defined as all grasses, annual plants, and vegetation other than trees or shrubs. It does not include cultivated flowers and gardens. Find the subject property is in violation of Section 304.1 of the International Property Maintenance Code, which states that the exterior property or premises and the interior of every structure shall be free from accumulation of rubbish or garbage. Find that the respondent has had a reasonable time from the service and posting of the original notice of violation on February 16, 2021, in which to correct these violations. And so I'm going to order that the respondent has until April 29th, 2021, in which to correct all of these violations by accomplishing the following. The respondent shall repair or replace the soffit on the subject property in accordance with the property maintenance standards set forth in sections 304.1 and 304.11b. Respondent shall complete installation of all windows on the subject property in accordance with property maintenance standards set forth in section 304.13. Respondent shall mow and trim the subject property in accordance with property maintenance standards set forth in section 302.4. Respondent shall remove all rubbish from the property so that the subject property complies with property maintenance standards in section 308.1. That the respondent, Mr. Rodriguez, shall be responsible for providing notice to the City Code Enforcement Division of the Community Development Department that he has brought the subject property into compliance. And that if the respondent fails to correct the violations within the time period set forth in this order, that a code enforcement officer shall schedule a compliance hearing before the special magistrate, in which case the city shall duly notify the respondent of the compliance hearing in accordance with law, and the respondent shall thereafter have an opportunity to appear, present testimony and evidence as to whether the violation is continuing on the subject property. At that hearing, that I will make a final determination whether compliance has occurred, and if I determine that compliance has not occurred, I shall impose fines. Upon a finding that the property remains in violation, I will issue a fine in an amount of $100 for the first day and $50 for each day thereafter that the subject property remains in violation from April 29th onward. Any fines which may be imposed may become a lien in favor of the city on the subject property and upon any other real or personal property of the respondent, Mr. Rodriguez, pursuant to Section 2-252E of the City Code and also Florida Statutes, Section 162.093. And that since this appears to be non-homestead property, I'll add that all non-homestead real property subject to a code enforcement lien is subject to foreclosure pursuant to Florida Statutes, Section 162.093. And the city may also obtain an award of its costs, including reasonable attorney's fees pursuant to Florida Statutes 162.10. And this order will be committed to writing and furnished to the city by the end of business tomorrow. Is there any other business that the city has this evening? In that case, we'll adjourn the hearing. We'll see you next month.